Hi folks, Torpedo Heat here. Today's video is on torpedo heater parts. Okay, you can't fix a heater without having the right parts. So we're going to go over the parts that we have here. We have just a small selection of what we have in stock, and these are the main parts that you'll need to repair most of the heaters out there on the market up to 215,000 BTUs. So let's just give you a general once over. Over here we have filter covers, rear filter covers, Dynaglow, all these different brands of filter covers with filter kits for them. Okay, we have different spark plugs, different igniters. We're going to show you those. Different hot surface igniters. Okay, we have those. Rotor kits, covers, pumps, circuit boards. We have nozzle holders, capacitors, everything. Okay, everything you need basically to fix a heater in general is right here on this table. So let's get started showing you these parts and show you what we got so you know how to fix some of these heaters properly. Start over here with our transformer ignition coils. This is an ignition coil for a single spark plug, such as this. You got one wire and you got one spark plug. That's a brand new spark plug box that will mount directly. Whether the old box has a cover on it, whatever the condition is, this will work. Okay, this is a transformer coil box for a dual spark plug unit. This is a Dynaglow thermal heat. It plugs in, whereas the other one has spade terminals. Okay, this is for a dual spark plug when you have two leads on your spark plug, such as this. One plugs in there and one plugs in there. Okay, so that's the transformer ignition coil for a dual spark plug setup. You have your single, you have your dual. Okay, also you have another single trans coil, and this has a spade terminal on the end instead of a round connector. This is an Enerco product for a Mr. Heater or a Heat Star heater, and it plugs into the circuit board. As you can see, there's your ground. The green wire is your ground, and it has a single connector with a spade terminal on the end of it. That's Mr. Heater. Okay, we also have Mr. Heater capacitors. That's a motor startup capacitor. It's kind of like a battery, but it's not a battery. This gives a little bit of extra juice so that motor can start. Okay, so we got capacitors and electrical components. We have the infamous photocell. This one has the two blue wires, and these photocells go out all the time. People need these all the time. You guys are, I'm sure, familiar with this photocell. This one is the one with the two blue wires, and we have all of them in stock. The black wires with the plug on the end of it, photocell, and also the photocell with the blue and white wires. Okay, this is a photocell, by the way, for a unit that has a spark plug. The blue and white wires are for a unit that has a spark plug. Okay, the photocell with the blue wires on it is for a heater that has a hot surface igniter. Okay, those two go hand in hand. Okay, now we have some little bitty parts here. Injector nozzle holders. I'm sure you people recognize these. They easily break. The tips on these easily break. You can see those small little fine tips. When you're servicing the heater and you have to disconnect your fuel and air lines from these holders, they have a tendency to break. These little bitty nozzle tendency to break. Okay, so those are very delicate. That's two types. This is a nozzle holder for a 210,000 BTU heater. It's aluminum, it's a little bit heavier, and it's a little bit bigger. Okay, now if you have a fuel cap like this that's no good, listen, okay, then we'll replace it with one like this. Doesn't look quite the same, but it is the same, and it does the same thing. Okay, we also stock the regular fuel caps. That fuel cap is 1 in a million. They got them for lawnmowers, all sorts of different equipment that carries fuel. Okay, We have pressure gauges for the units, so you can read your pressure, whether the pressure gauge is mounted to the unit or not. Circuit boards. This circuit board here is the circuit board for a PP200 hot surface igniter. Those two parts, along with that photocell, go hand in hand. If you have 115,000 BTU All-Pro or a ready heater, and the heater's shutting off on you, or you're having other issues, your PP200 hot surface igniter is not working, then when you change that surface igniter, or when you change this photocell, you have to change this board, because this board will be damaged when you disconnect that. Okay, so we have circuit boards. Here's a circuit board that we have here. It's pretty fancy. I just pulled a few parts out to make the video, but this particular circuit board was one of the fancier ones. It's for a Dynaglow thermo heat. This one has a thermostat on it, as you can see. Then there's the knob for the thermostat. It has a temperature readout, okay, right there, and it has a power light indicator telling you that the heater is on. Okay, on this particular circuit board, this circuit board goes with the dual spark plug igniter. Okay, the one that goes for that spark plug. Alright, and this circuit, this here plugs right into here, like that, into that circuit board. Okay, so that's a pretty fancy circuit board. Actually, it's not all that expensive. This transformer here sends the right amount of voltage to this transformer here to get your voltage. So a lot of times when you replace this and you don't have any spark, this is what needs to be replaced along with it, which only comes on the circuit board. So yeah, these are nice, pretty circuit boards, especially when the lights are lit up. They're real pretty in that. So, okay, we got circuit boards for most makes and models. Rotor covers, brand new. A lot of times these will get scored around here. Okay, here in the short section is where the air goes out, on this side here. That short section. The long section over here is the intake side, and the final air output is there. That goes through this hole. Okay, so we got that. We got new pump rings. Okay, these rings often get rusty. You can see how nice and new and shiny that ring is. These are a common part that people don't replace often enough. Okay, those pump rings come with new screws all the time that fit the new ring, and they're pretty much a universal part. You have a 1/2-inch ring and you have a 5/8 pump ring. Okay, so we have those in stock if you have bad ones. Rotor kits, very common problem. This is a Mr. Heater rotor kit. Okay, it's 5/8 thick, but it's different in the center. The diameter in the center is different than a regular rotor kit. So that's a different product. That's Mr. Heater. Here we have a rotor kit with our vanes. Okay, and we've showed you how to put this together in other videos, but there you have brand new rotor kits and brand new vanes. Okay, all these parts are in stock. I have a million of these, so there's not a problem in getting these parts. We have all the sizes of that. Okay, spark plugs and igniters. Here's what you guys have always been looking at that was deteriorated. You guys remember that plug there? Yeah, we stock those. Okay, similarly, we stock the other one next to it. Okay, we have all sorts of different spark plugs, and none of them is actually the same. Okay, we have different models of ceramic spark plugs that are not the same by any means. They look the same, but they're not. Okay, so you do need to get the right spark plug to work with the right ignition system on your heater. See that? Each one of those spark plugs is different, even though they may look the same. Now, these spark plugs provide spark to ignite the fuel on your heater. Excuse me. Some heaters have a hot surface igniter. That's what this is. I'm sure you've seen that. This hot surface igniter here is a PP200SC. It's very heavy duty. It's not the standard model. If you can see that, I'm not sure how well that camera can see it. Okay, that's a very heavy duty unit. You see that? That's a tough unit. Once you purchase one of these to replace the old flat style that you have in there, it will last you a lifetime. Okay, it will last your lifetime. So that goes hand in hand with your spark plugs, because this ignites your fuel. And we also stock a different type of PP200, which is flat, but it's also heavier duty than what you have in your heater now. See that? It looks solid. There is a separation in there. That is a very heavy duty PP200 hot surface igniter. Okay, so we have all this stuff in stock here, and this is all pretty much common stuff for us. Okay, so we've gone through our spark plugs. We have spark plugs for older models, newer models, all sorts of different models. We have fan blades. We all know what those are for. So we stock them new. If your fan blade is bent or if it's broken, then we have a new fan blade for you. Okay? We stock hoses, the proper hoses for the heater. Not some hose that you went and bought at the auto parts store that really in all actuality isn't the right hose. And if it does work, it won't work for long. Okay, now we have filter covers. This is a filter cover, very commonly goes bad, and that's for a Dynaglow thermoheat filter cover with a switch to go for high and low. I'm sure many of you have seen that switch. That switch fits on right there like that. Okay, we stock these covers and filter kits for these covers. Okay, this particular cover comes with the pump adjustment kit plugs. As you can see, the silver down in there already installed. Okay, one of the few that comes with the kit already installed. Okay, so that's Dynaglow thermoheat, and that cover is made in different variations. Here's the same cover, same filter kit. This cover comes without the pump adjustment kit. There are no plugs in there, no screws in there. But this one, the high-low, has the knob, and it sits on there like that. And I'm sure lots of you folks have seen that, okay, because they go bad often. Okay, we stock these filter covers because they very commonly go bad. Okay, this is a Mr. Heater rear filter cover. This is a Mr. Heater rear filter kit. Okay, that's the exhaust filter right there, and that is the cover gasket. Mr. Heater, Heat Star, Enerco Products parts. Okay, now we have a DESA part. This part here requires a PP 217 pump kit. I'll show you this in a minute, but all of these filter covers have to have pump kits installed in the holes that you have. Okay, this is a square filter cover. Many people understand that was manufactured by DESA way back when. Okay, here's the filter kit for this cover, a PP215 and a PP214. In these filter kits you get 4 filters. You get a fuel filter, a small lint filter, you get an exhaust filter, and your intake filter. Okay, so that's 4 filters that come in a filter kit. That's the PP214. The same filter cover. This filter cover was made for so many years and on so many different model heaters that the PP215 filter kit is only different by the fuel filter. Okay, which is going to be different here. Okay, so a lot of you have seen that fuel filter there. One kit comes with this and one kit comes with this. Okay, so you got your filters. All the filters comes in the kit. That's all good with the covers. Okay, another similar cover, many of you have seen that, diamond shaped cover, diamond shaped filter kit. Pretty simple, clear cut. We got the covers. Okay, we got our teardrop covers. This is Master Thermoheat. This is a or I'm sorry, not Master, not Thermoheat, but Pro Temp. Master and Pro Temp. This is a Pinnacle product. Okay, these are made by Pinnacle. The filter kit looks well, but it has a half moon for one side. It has your lint filter and it has your exhaust filter that are all shaped properly for that cover. Okay, so each one of these covers that we're showing you has the proper filter kit for it, because whenever you go to replace one of these covers, you're going to need to replace the filters too. Another very common cover, the round cover, used on all sorts of models, DESA, All Pro, Ready, all sorts of different heaters, small, big ones. Brand new parts, brand new cover. Again, here's the filter kit, exhaust or intake filter, little bitty square lint filters in there, and your exhaust filter. So those are some of the main parts that you need to fix a torpedo heater. And we have some smaller parts here. Okay, I hope you guys will be able to see this well. So let's get going on this. We have spark plug, and on the bottom of this spark plug is a part that gets commonly lost. That little red gasket right there. You see that? Okay. We sell that gasket because that gasket is very important. When you install that spark plug, there it is, the screw goes in on the top. There is already a washer on there. This washer here, fiber, goes on the bottom and then it slides in there. Okay, that's a very important washer that goes in there. If you don't have that, your transformer for your heater might not work for long. Okay, so we also have nozzle rebuilding kits. When you take your nozzle apart and you need to rebuild it because everything in there is old and wore out, we have nozzle rebuild kits. Okay, this particular kit consists of the spring, the two washers, and the rubber gasket on the end. That goes on this type of nozzle. Okay, you put a washer on there, you put your spring on there, you put another washer on there, and then you put the rubber gasket on the end. And that is a nozzle rebuild kit. As you can see, that's a big fat seal on the end there now. And when you stick that down in there, you see how big and fat and fresh that is. When you stick that down in there, that's going to seal it up good. Okay. We also sell nozzle O-rings. This type of nozzle, which is dirty, it's a used nozzle because we've sold out of these. There's a little bitty O-ring on the end right there. That seals up the whole deal right there. That little bitty O-ring. Okay, you should be able to see that. There's an O-ring goes around the end of that. That seals up this nozzle. We sell that O-ring right there. We have millions of those in stock. Okay, we have fuel filters. I'm going to have to explain how this fuel filter works to people because it's dirty, but it is new. Because people oftentimes put this filter in upside down. This filter stands up like this. It looks like an upside down Christmas tree. The principle behind that is fuel comes in here and the filter gets bigger as it goes up. So then that leaves more area for it to suck fuel out of the top of the filter, instead of, if you turn the filter over, the bigger area is on the bottom and you go to a smaller area to supply your nozzle. You can't see it because it's part of it, but there, right there is an arrow showing up. Okay, so this filter always sets like this. Sets like an upside down Christmas tree. And if you put it in upside down, which would be this way, is wrong. That is definitely wrong. If you put it in like that, your heater will not work properly. Okay, so that's how a fuel filter goes in there. You don't really want to put it in upside down. Now, we got the fuses that go in the torpedo heaters. They are specially rated fuses. You can get them some places, but they're not common to auto parts stores. Okay, so these are some of the finer parts, and we sell the fuses for that. Connectors to go inside the cavity of a torpedo heater. These connectors are only rated to 120 degrees Fahrenheit, so you do not put them under the hood of a heater, but you can put them inside the cavity where all the wiring and stuff goes together. Okay, we sell air connectors, air fittings. You've seen those type of fittings. Those are air outlet fittings, where your air comes out of your pump housing these screw in. I don't know if this fits this. These screw in like that. Okay, that screws in. That's where your air comes out. You put your hose on there. Okay, we got all kinds of different ones, angled ones, double ones. That one there, the air comes out and goes to the nozzle, and the other air goes to a funny little pressure gauge that Mr. Heater had that didn't really work very well, but that's what they did. So we got air outlets, and finally we got a PP217 pump adjustment kit. This, when that screw is turned all the way in on the back cover of your heater, okay, when that screw in that hole is turned all the way in, that indicates a problem with that heater. Okay, inside that hole is this little bitty ball right here and this little bitty spring, if it'll hold still. That ball and that spring are inside that cover, underneath that pump, that plug, and there's a plug there for the other hole that's solid. Okay, can't see through that. It's solid. It just plugs that hole up. When you're dealing with these heaters, this hole over here is nothing but a port to check the air. Screwing this plug in and out does nothing. Screwing this plug here in and out may or may not adjust your pressure. Depends on the condition of your system. Okay, so this is the little bitty spring and ball and the guts that go inside of torpedo heater covers, and that's a universal part. Most of the parts that we've shown you here, there's only a few out of everything that we actually stock. We haven't gone through our fuel filters. Okay, I'm sure you've seen these. These are common, easy to break. Okay, you have your long ones and your short ones. Dynaglow, Thermo Heats, Reddies, all sorts of other stuff. They go hand in hand with some of the other fuel filters. Okay, so we have basically all the parts in stock that you need to fix your heater, and if you don't have new parts to fix your heater, you can't fix it. It's like you need to do the brakes on your car, but you don't have any new brake pads. So that's what it is. Most of these parts are fairly inexpensive, so that is a good thing. Anyway, folks, that's the video on some of the basic torpedo heater parts. These are very common parts that I'm showing you, so you'll have a good idea. I'm sure a lot of you have actually seen these parts on your heaters themselves. So again, folks, if you have any problems seeing this video, just leave a comment. If you like the video, if you learned anything, give me the thumbs up. It's not that big a deal to click on that once. But basically, we hope that you learned something, that you know where, if you do need to get these parts or whatever, you can get them. So anyway, folks, there's your torpedo heater parts video. We made a big mess of our table, and as usual, have a wonderful day.